That's the alt-right has existed for forever. This is not
Yeah.
anything new. It's just they found a new opening. They found a new platform, and they're able to just kind of repackage the same bull. I don't know where the distrust started. I mean, I guess you could go back to Reagan, but it's probably before that.
Yeah, I would much more assume Nixon.
Yeah, Nixon. Well, the JFK assassination um, didn't help,
Yeah.
and
But I mean,
then
I don't know if
the,
that was necessarily government distrust at that time, though.
not
Well,
yet.
I guess maybe Vietnam,
Vietnam
because
was, yeah, I was gonna
that
say,
still predated Nixon, but not by much.
not by much, yeah. But it was Kennedy, it was Johnson, and
Hmm.
escalation, and
So yeah, so that's fair. Then Kennedy does make sense in that case
mhm.
to
It was a
call out.
combination of a bunch of things that
Yeah.
created distrust and created this. Now this it started really stemmed from it's all systems at work like over time, right? So there's so
Hmm.
many different aspects to all of this that it's complex, right? There's so many
Yep.
different things you can think about. What are you talking about specifically? I mean, I think like with the rise, but people have talked about this shit to death, like the rise of Trumpism or the rise of QAnon or the Tea Party and
Hmm.
the alt right, do they call it, and stuff like that. And of course, the argument is that stuff has just the alt right has existed for forever. This is not
Yeah.
anything new. It's just they found a new opening. They found a new platform, and they're able to just kind of repackage the same bullshit and spew it again, right?
Hmm. Yeah. Just do some rebranding.
Mm-hmm.
And
And the Republicans are very, very good at rebranding in general. They're very, very good at word games,
yep.
like changing the words. I don't know if you watch Real Time with Bill Maher, but there actually was a um I'm actually behind on both John Oliver and Real Time. I was going to watch it Sunday, but I didn't get around to it. Uh, I was actually watching The History of the World Part 2 on
Yeah,
Hulu.
I was waiting to talk about that. A few things that you've said so far have triggered that, and I was like, oh, I don't know if it's really a good interjection time, but there we are.
Yeah. Oh, well, I wouldn't go
Um,
to that in a minute. I was just saying, like, there
yeah.
was one thing on Real Time where this guy, I can't remember who was the guest at the time, but talking about I disagree with a lot of shit that Bill Maher has done lately, but occasionally there's
Hmm.
some good things. And the one thing about and this has been talked about again before, but I like it when these things, even though I've mentioned this forever, not forever, but like for several years now, about how
Sure.
the Republicans are very good at branding. And it was even in the movie Vice. I don't know if you saw that with Kristen Bale.
No,
No, where
didn't see
he
that.
plays Dick Cheney.
That sounds awesome, but yeah, no, didn't see
It's
that.
really good. It's made by the same guy who did, written by the same guy who did Up. Don't Look Up.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Um, yeah, it's really good. What's his name? Sam Rockwell
Oh, okay, yeah,
plays Bush.
fair enough.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Steve Carell plays Rumsfeld,
Huh,
Donald Rumsfeld. Yeah, it's good. Um, it talks
fair
about
enough.
the life story, the arc of Dick Cheney. Um, but the thing about the Republican branding, and one of the things they brought up, and it's nice to see something like that in Bill Maher, because a lot of, like centrists, enlightened centrists, and neolibs and all this shit, like people who think like, oh, I'm an centrist liberal, and I'm smarter than everybody else because I'm above the fray. You know,
Hmm.
that kind of attitude, that smug kind of attitude that Bill Maher kind of attracts because he's like that. They did talk occasionally. There's some good points, and this one guy talked about the branding with the Republican Party, where he talks about like the abortion argument, pro life. They came up with that. You know,
Right.
that was a great thing because it's like, whoa, pro life. It's like, well, of course I'm pro life. Who's not pro life? And of course, the left was like, because before that, it was just like, what would you say, pro-abortion, anti-abortion? Like that would be the analytical way of talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But really, it's so they came up with this language, this euphemistic language, pro-life and pro-choice. Pro-choice is a pretty good rebuttal to that, but still, the other thing is the death tax.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge. It was originally called the estate tax.
Right.
So then they changed it to the death tax, and then of course every Tom, Dick, and Harry that's like, oh, I can't give my kid $20,000 without I don't want to pay a penalty because I die and I'm trying to donate my everything to my kid. It's like you're not going to get taxed on that.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't believe that. Didn't matter. And just call it the death tax. Because you got like two things going on. People think that they're going to get charged that much money because they don't really understand what the bill really is. And they think that, oh, well, maybe I'll be a millionaire one day too, and then it'll be my problem too.
Yep.
It seems to be like a Republican disease. Everybody thinks they're going to be a millionaire with their independent plumbing service.
Yeah, no, I've definitely gathered that a lot with my conversations with a lot of kind of Republicans out here and talking about like, okay, if this tax is only for the super rich, then why is it a problem?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, it's just not fair, and I'm like, it doesn't affect you.
Right.
Why do you care?
Right.
Like, are we really needing to protect the poor super rich?
Super rich? Yeah. Right.
If you are a billionaire, I think you'll be fine. Like whatever percentage we want to take, is it going to affect your ability to still be a billionaire? No, you're fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
You have enough money.
Right.